In the sun-scorched yard of a state penitentiary, a man named Adubs walks alone. 6'3", built like a fortress, he moves with a quiet intensity that keeps others at a distance. They don't respect him, they fear him. And that's exactly how Warden Vaughn wants it. The warden has painted a target on his back, and every inmate knows it. He's a regular in the hole, the prison's term for solitary confinement. They throw him in there like it's a revolving door, trying to break his spirit. Later, in the chaos of the mess hall, Adubs eats in silence. The scrape of his plastic spoon against the tray is the only sound he makes. But silence is a luxury he can't afford. 3 inmates, a crew led by a man named Drake, slide into his table. "Heard your mama's letter got lost again," Drake sneers. "It's the 3rd one this month." Adubs doesn't look up. Another one, Lucas, chimes in. "Warden says, you got attitude. Says you need to learn your place." Adubs finally speaks, his voice low and steady. "My place is innocent. You all know that. But truth is a currency with no value here. It's about survival." The 3rd inmate, Merk, adds, "Maybe we help you survive." By breaking that pride, Adubs puts his spoon down, a slow, deliberate act that's a clear warning. "Walk away," he says. They don't. The mess hall erupts into violence, but Adubs isn't a brawler, he's a storm. A swift elbow cracks Lucas's jaw. Drake is flipped over the table before he can even react. Merk, desperate, pulls a razor blade from his shoe, but before it can even touch skin, the loud clang of batons echoes through the hall. Guards swarm them, their focus entirely on Adubs. He takes 3 heavy blows to the ribs before they slam the cuffs on his wrists. As they drag him away, he yells, his voice raw with injustice, "I didn't start this." But the guard's reply is cold and predictable. "Tell it to the hole." Darkness, absolute and suffocating. The air is damp, the walls cold and slick. The only sound is the rhythmic drip of a leaky pipe and the sound of his own breathing. This is the hole. Adubs sits on a steel slab, back straight, eyes open in the pitch black. It's been 3 days. No light, no sound, just his own thoughts. He whispers a name, a lifeline in the oppressive silence, Keisha, his little sister. She was his one connection to the outside world, visiting every Sunday without fail. But she hadn't come this week, or the week before. Warden Vaughn had revoked his visitation rights for disciplinary reasons. It was a lie, another turn of the screw. Adubs never got the official notice. He just got the lock on his door and the suffocating darkness. The next morning, he's hauled from the hole and brought to the warden's office. The contrast is jarring. Vaughn sits behind a polished mahogany desk, sipping black coffee, his uniform perfectly pressed. He looks at Adubs, bruised and exhausted, and smirks. "You're a cancer, Adubs. Every time you step out there, violence follows." Adubs' voice is raspy but firm. "They target me 'cause you told M2. Vaughn's smirk widens. "Prove it." Adubs has no proof, only the truth, and that's not enough. Mail denied, visits denied. Another 14 days in the hole, Vaughn declares, savoring each word. "Maybe you'll finally break." But Adubs looks the warden dead in the eye and says, "I don't break." I remember. 2 weeks later, Adubs is released back into the general population. He's thinner, but his presence is harder, his eyes like chips of flint. The ordeal has forged him into something stronger. It doesn't take long for trouble to find him. Drake's crew corners him by the weight racks, their intentions clear. "Missed us, big man," Drake taunts. But just as they're about to move in, a powerful voice cuts through the tension. "Back off." It's Big Ray, a lifer with a scarred face who commands universal respect. "He's clean," Ray says, stepping between A-dubs and the crew. Lucas scoffs, "Since when, you, his guardian?" Big Ray's eyes narrow. "Since I saw the warden slip you contraband last week." "You think we're all blind?" The yard goes silent. The accusation hangs in the air, undeniable. Defeated, Drake's crew backs away, their power broken by a simple truth. The very next day, a small miracle happens. A new correctional officer, Officer Reyes, walks by A-dub's cell. With a quick, nervous glance over his shoulder, he slides a thick envelope under the door and walks away without a word. A-dubs tears it open. Inside are all of his missing letters, weeks' worth of connection to his family. There are drawings from his sister, Keisha, simple crayon figures that feel like masterpieces. And tucked within the stack is an official notice. His hands begin to shake, not from fear, but from a feeling he'd almost forgotten: hope. The notice reads, "Grand jury reviewing evidence in State v. AMDs. New witness testimony submitted." As the sun sets that evening, casting long shadows across the yard, A-dub stands alone again. But something is different. His shoulders are back, his jaw is set, his spirit unchained. From a guard tower, high above, Warden Vaughn watches him, his face a tight mask of anger and disbelief. A-dubs feels the stare, and looks up, meeting the warden's gaze across the yard. He doesn't flinch, he doesn't look away. In that moment, a silent message passes between them, a promise. "You thought the hole would bury me, but stone doesn't rot. It only gets sharper." 87 days later, A-dubs was fully exonerated and walked out of the prison a free man. The same week, Warden Vaughn was indicted for evidence tampering and obstruction of justice. A-dub's story is a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of places, the human spirit can endure, and the truth, no matter how deeply buried, will eventually find its way to the light. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please consider subscribing for more incredible tales of resilience and justice.